What is one of the single biggest mistakes many parents make during their children's doctor visit? And what steps can you take to make your appointments better and more effective? We're discussing all this and more on this episode of White Coat Wisdom. Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. We've got a very important topic to talk about today. It's a subtle point, but I think one that really should be discussed. Now, before we get into it, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and be sure to hit that notification bell. We're just getting started, and your support really helps us keep making these videos. And if you find some information to be useful, please share this video with a close friend or family member, or with someone who cares about their health as much as you do. All right, let's get on to it. 6 visits in your baby's first year. That's a lot of face time with your pediatrician. But here's the question, are you using those visits effectively? In this episode, I'll show you how to make every doctor's visit count, how to ask questions that matter, and how to avoid the one biggest mistake that can keep your child's needs from being addressed. Parents with young children should know that they will be seeing their kid's pediatrician regularly, especially during the earliest years of a child's life. Through the first year alone, a typical routine well-child schedule includes a visit shortly after birth, and then at 2, 4, 6, 9, and 12 months of age. That's 6 visits already, just within the first year of life. These visits serve a great purpose. Your routinely scheduled well-child visits are your opportunities to 1. Evaluate your child's overall health status. 2. Track physical growth as well as neurocognitive and motor development. 3. Discuss anticipatory guidance. And 4. Present concerns and ask questions. These are the times to get your questions answered. It is perfectly appropriate to have a list of questions for your doctor. This is particularly true for first-time parents. The same is true for parents of children with multiple ongoing medical issues. Consider writing your questions down if you have several questions to ask. Let your doctor know that you have some questions and concerns when he or she walks in, and try to get these out early during the exam. Starting the visit with your questions and concerns can properly set the tone and help facilitate efficient and effective information exchange. Unfortunately, many parents approach the medical visit with a more passive stance. They allow the doctor to dictate the flow and direction of the conversation, anticipating the provider to ask pertinent questions and dispense anticipatory recommendations. And then, at the end, the parents bring up some concerns they may have. I would recommend that you try not to structure your visit this way. You don't want your doctor to spend time talking about potentially less pertinent information because they are unaware that there are more pressing issues that you're concerned about. Remember that each medical visit is allotted a limited amount of time. This is to allow for proper scheduling of a medical office's day. Doctor appointments can sometimes run long or late, and so medical offices do everything they can to run a tight schedule. Bringing up your questions near the end may not leave suitable time for a full discussion on the topic. You also don't want your doctor to potentially address your concerns like an afterthought and rush through them, simply because they were presented at the visit's end. The questions and concerns you bring to the office with you are important, and they should be treated as such, both by you and your provider. Therefore, don't present these concerns as a side note at the end. Be sure to let your provider know the number of questions you have on your list, or at least give them a general sense of the number. This can help your provider organize the visit to allocate proper allotment of time for each item. Alternatively, your provider may deem the list of concerns to be substantial enough to warrant a follow-up appointment to ensure that each concern is managed in a thorough and appropriate fashion. While you should certainly be sure to ask questions and present concerns during your visit, do try to be considerate of your provider and respectful of the time of other families. Try not to come to your doctor's appointment with an exhaustive list of questions. A preset amount of time has been allotted for your visit. That time is reserved for you and your family. But remember, it is a finite amount of time. Additionally, when you're planning your doctor's visit, try not to squeeze multiple medical issues into a single visit, especially if the issues are complex. If there are genuinely a large number of active medical issues that need to be addressed, consider planning on multiple visits to cover the issues via piecemeal. You can prioritize the most pressing issues first. Really try to pare your questions down to a manageable number. Also, if you have more than 2 or 3 points to discuss, write them down. A reasonable provider will address your concerns intelligently and thoroughly. A highly capable provider may be able to handle multiple issues in a single visit, but there are limits. Doctors are human beings. You don't want to frazzle them. You don't want to confuse them or frustrate them. You don't want to present such a dizzying array of concerns that it may distract your provider from some issues or details that may be more urgent. Even if you don't care about your doctor's emotional journey, you do not want your child's doctor to rush. This could lead to things being missed. Bad things can happen when things are missed. Having said that, it is important that your provider is made aware of your child's health from a holistic perspective. So, in the case of a child with multiple active medical issues or numerous points to be addressed, it is worthwhile mentioning all of these to your doctor so that he or she is aware of them, but with the understanding that they may be addressed at subsequent visits. Sometimes a family will come into the office with a full script in mind. The parents have certain topics that they want to make sure to cover during their visit. As soon as the visit begins, they start going down their list. Questions by the doctor are bypassed with another concern or line item on the list. This is a mistake and can be overwhelming, leading to missed details. Medical visits are professional conversations, which should be mutually cooperative in nature. Ask your question or present your concern, and then allow your doctor to respond. Be mindful to reciprocate if your doctor has follow-up questions. This goes both ways, of course. And you should similarly not expect or allow your doctor to repeatedly interrupt you when you are speaking. This should not be expected or tolerated. The point is, neither party should dominate the conversation during a medical visit. In a similar regard, don't schedule an appointment and then try to squeeze in questions about other siblings or family members. This may seem tempting since you're already in the office and have the provider's attention. It should be avoided. While a tangential question or two about a sibling may seem harmless, the process is a lot more involved on the provider's end. Medical advice carries with it medical legal responsibility. The conversational content and context are professional in nature. There is therefore a liability burden that is inherently attached with any such interaction. Also, anytime a doctor dispenses medical advice, it usually does not involve simple, off-the-cuff recommendations. Pertinent medical details and decisions need to be documented into the patient's medical chart. This is for the protection of all parties involved. Please try not to put your provider on the spot. While it's important to get the answers to your questions from your provider, be careful not to approach the medical office as a lump source of medical information from which to draw. From the front desk to the medical assistant or nurse, to the provider, each member of the office staff plays an important role in the care of your child. But each role is distinct and has its own limitations and scope of knowledge. These roles are rarely intended to overlap in patient information exchange. As you go through your visit, from check-in to exam room to check-out, be mindful of who you solicit advice from. Do not solicit medical advice from ancillary staff. Medical assistants and nurses are not trained to dispense professional medical advice. They are qualified to measure and record objective medical data, including a child's weight and temperature. They are also qualified to execute simple medical procedures, such as vaccine administration and point-of-care testing, under the direction of a physician. Even if advice is dispensed within the context of good intention, it falls outside the scope of practice for a nurse or medical assistant to interpret data or other medical information, or to formulate a medical plan of diagnostic or therapeutic intervention. That is the role of the doctor, or a provider of comparable level. Any recommendations made by ancillary staff should not be taken as formal medical advice. Doing so extends beyond the scope of their medical training and education. This could lead to misinformation and result in deleterious medical outcomes. If you found this episode helpful, check out our other videos packed with real-world clinical insights. And if you haven't already, click here to check out our previous video that covers all the potential hidden dangers of a medical office that you should be trying to avoid. We're board-certified medical providers with over 30 years of combined experience, sharing the pearls, caveats, and hard-won lessons that only come from caring for real people, not just studying the books. Thanks for joining us here at White Coat Wisdom, where clinical experience meets everyday life. If you found today's insights helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who cares about their health as much as you do. Your support helps us keep bringing trusted, real-world medical guidance straight to you. See you in the next one. Until next time, everyone stay safe and stay healthy.